welcome to the usual program, The Well, where they come to you every Friday at exactly 7 p.m. on True Talk Radio 98.5 FM, and also live on the Facebook page when at True Talk FM and the YouTube channel when at True Talk FM. The Well na a program where they look at things them where they happen inside Parliament and things them where they happen outside, but concern Parliament. As we all know, Parliament therefore ensure say them pass laws them, bills and also monitor government agencies for the different work where they can do. And they can provide oversight for MDAs and government agencies them. The member of Parliament can represent the different constituencies outside before they make law, therefore go tell people them what the law entail and why therefore pass them to law. Me where they bring this program to una today, me name na Maria Makalma Mara. Stay with me for the next 1 hour as we go look at the topic, taxpayers' money, our rights to know, citizens' role in demanding accountability. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we go delve into the topic proper. Welcome back. Remember, say the program where they listen to na the Well, where they meet you na the radio station every Friday at exactly 7 p.m. and also live on the Facebook page at True Talk FM and the YouTube channel True Talk FM. Remember, say the topic for today's discussion are taxpayers' money, our rights to know, citizens' role in demanding accountability. Every month, government they collect tax from we salaries, business, and the things them where we can buy. But the big question is how they can spend the money here, whether they collect from we. And how we as citizens for ask questions them for make we get accountability. For answer this question here, so today, I get with we a guest when Mr. Thomas Dixon, when I journalist. Mr. Thomas, you go greet from them.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And we also get another guest we go join with shortly. So Mr. Thomas Dixon, for today's discussion, we will like for know, but you role as a journalist. What is your organization there about?
Being a journalist, we don't rise from the level of cub reporter to managing editor now. I edit Salon Times newspaper, and also the managing editor of New Age newspaper.
Okay. So as journalists, how will they help citizens them forget access to information with concerning public money and government spending?
Well, we do that with publications, both the legacy publication, that is the physical copy, and various websites, and we also do to WhatsApp. We from my own newspaper, New Age, we have short WhatsApp messages, news, we call a news alert, we can send around on some of the issues or taxes or money where government don't get generally.
Okay. So when I don't ever do an investigative report or story where they expose the misuse of funds and encourage transparency?
Several times we don't do investigative journalism. Particularly in following audit reports, we most times we can don't see audit report and they come on and tell we say government don't misuse or huge amounts of money. We can follow them publication, and sometimes we can do our own independent investigation, even when we get a tip or lead from somebody who can follow, and we try for present those facts to the public.
Okay, so in the process, we want to do all this. What are some of the challenges that we want to face for try to get the information there so from government and public offices about how they spend?
Well, it's very challenging owing to the fact that we then are a country where people still believe in secrecy, especially people in public office. And when it comes to finance, when it comes to the money we in near you to your money that you some people for spend, it's very difficult to get answer from them. And we although we get the Access to Information Act, But if you go to the Access to Information Act, they tell you say ministries, departments, and agencies for be proactive in disclosing information, public information. But waiting and they do, we go now, most of the ministry, department, and agency, they not get website. They not even get website. Even if they get, you know, they upload them. When it comes to finance, the Ministry of Finance has a functional website. But we see now outside they don't, they slow, or nor they even upload. For example, we get what we call the annual general purpose financial statement, whereby now if we don't put in at the website of the Ministry of Finance, but we don't know why making all in at the website of the Ministry of Finance. You also get the quarterly and monthly update on expenditure of government working normally in at the Ministry of Finance. Since if you go to the website now, since March, you know, bring out the monthly update on government expenditure.
Okay. So sometimes as journalists, una don't ever get like fear backlash where una they try for report back corruption or misuse of
Yes, we don't get
government funds.
backlash, we don't get threatened. Sometimes we have been threatened. Either say we then go jail we, sometimes and we tell we say una would go after una. So we don't get several backlash. Sometimes, but it takes resilience and for try for push through. So that is what we have been doing. It doesn't matter whether you intimidate we or not. We always they try for push through and get to information we want forget. The only side the only thing we do, we always they try forget the other side. We make the reasonable steps for verify our story. So most times, even though somebody go say, hey, we don't publish this, but you know go tell you say we not getting your side, or not getting institution your side, for ensure say we present all sides of the story before publication.
Okay, so normally media coverage will concern taxpayers' money. You know, he reach most of the ordinary people there working in a different community. So how are they able to break the story there, yeah, so down, so that people are able to know?
Newspaper is somehow elitist. Somehow it's for people that we read and write. Read and write. So and what we can do normally for put out those information on social media, and it can be circulated. Either somebody else share them now Twitter page, or somebody share them from we website, or from we various WhatsApp group that would. So we then ensure say reach at least reach most people, and we no go vouch say go reach to the community level, because you get huge number of rural population, most of whom not able for read, and if they're able for read, not go able for afford for buy newspaper.
Okay, so plenty citizens go say most of the money where government they use now from the corporate they come out, they pay tax, they pay GST, they pay this. Yes, exactly. So you think say when they work in collaboration with other civil society organizations, how well when they work together for say able for push transparency?
Yeah, we they work with for we now we newspaper we always work with Budget Advocacy Network.
Okay.
We work with Citizen Budget Watch. We they try for work with them for ensure say we put out public information on budget, transparency, information on taxes, and so on and so forth. We also work with IGI on some of them reports in terms of good governance and accountability.
Okay. So when I ever try like for access a particular budget from government institution, they wanna face like backlash challenges?
As I say, it's for now if you normally most times we can get before now we can get information on budgets, allocation from the Ministry of Finance website, or government expenditure from the website. But as I say, it has been long now. They now update the current annual general purpose financial statement. We now unedited, where they show within government unaudited. Sorry, where they show within government non-spend, within government gets the following year. We also since March now see the updated monthly government expenditure within the Ministry of Finance for the upload. We not see then they upload and since March. So that might cause for concern. We also they follow through the audit service. We they work with them for try for bring to the public issues of misuse of government fund, misappropriation of government fund. We see recently USAID pull out 5 performance audit report. We they try for also study them and bring and come to the public domain.
Okay. So as a journalist, how important it be for reports for how government they use taxpayers their money, and una feel say the media they do enough by this issue?
As journalists now we rule for all government accountable, for all the powerful accountable, bring them, ensure that there is transparency in governance. So if you go to the constitution, you read section 11 of the 1921 constitution. They tell you say the media for the between the government and the people, meaning for able for explain how government not spend the people the money, and within government not spending for if there is misuse for able for bring account to the public domain. So those are the issues we do. To my knowledge, I think the media in this country they do very very well in terms of ensure that there is transparency and bring people to book.
Okay. Well, Fambu, that na Thomas Dixon, where they talk small on we topic today. When our taxpayers' money, our rights to know, and citizens' role in demanding accountability. We will go for a short break, and when we come back, we will continue with the conversation. back. Remember, say the program where they listen to on the well, where they meet you every Friday at exactly 7 p.m. Remember, say the topic for today's discussion that taxpayers' money and we right to know citizens' accountability. Well, as I will say earlier, we get a guest we supposed for January and in day with me now. Welcome, Mr. Abubakar Tawali.
Thank you.
Okay, so for the purpose of today's discussion, Fambu go like for know waiting on our organization and budget advocacy they about because every organization get their sole aim and mission. So waiting basically band they about.
Well, as the name implies, budget advocacy network ban. Now, a network where they look at public financial management issues, but we main focus on the budget. So not a mistake with the budget advocacy network. They come about as a result of getting a network of civil society organizations where they work around the same interests rather than and they operate in silos. It's not actually they do public financial management accountability. It's not NMJD, they do natural resource governance, all they geared towards the budget. This now CGG, then they look at governance issue. This now, of course, Talking Drum Studio. Then they into conflict sensitive, interventions, and of course, media. They were all come together. They say, you know what, we need for tailor this thing. They need for Sabi, a consortium or a network where they work around the unique, of course, features of the economy. You cannot talk about the economy if you not talk about the budget. So basically, we work, it's centered around the principle of the budget, the three principles of the budget, citizens' participation, transparency, and accountability.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So based on the topic we watch today and what we look at today and budget advocacy network on actually they in line with this topic. So citizens then know say the money where government can take from them taxes now they use for different things them. So the money where government they use actually in a citizens then sweat. But plenty citizens they don't know how government they spend the money there so as an organization, budget advocacy network, how una they work for make sure say the ordinary man they get access to them budgets there so how una they break down the tax money where governments they use.
Well, sometimes we'll talk, say, because you engage a few people in our society, it means all man get the understanding as them, because they talk about a country of 8 million people, and so we don't do we work not just selected areas, some districts, even Afriton, now western urban and the western rural districts. But because we get an active listening population, especially radio, source of information, we know say plenty people them where they listen radio and TV, and we don't they also partake part we work, don't they understand about the budget through we various approach them. One, we can simplify the budget in a cartoon format. Then we use non-technical language like a low literacy approach. Where that one day it don't help over the time for educate the citizens about one. Waiting can they part the Finance Act where Parliament can pass. Because when the budget process can start, they start from the macro fiscal forecasting. Aside the economists, statisticians, and they sit down and they look at the revenue potential where the country gets. And so and they do what they call macroeconomic outlook. Meaning if they want to do a revenue forecast, if based on the economic outlook, which are the source system where the government will likely get money, and how this revenue be done dey perform over time, na im go give them a sense of for say okay, this year wey dey come we dey target for a so amount in revenue. And so but the NRA no dey get the authority for collect tax on behalf of government until they get a law, they forget the mandate from the citizens. And whether they represent the citizens are parliamentarians. I may go call this program the well. I feel say it link well with the legislature because inside the parliament it just feel like well.
Yeah, we can actually get
so
them.
So the parliamentarian them they look at the proposal where Minister of Finance and NRA and of course the other players they don't put in place. They say if for them are the law. And that law they now NRA they take for administer the Finance Act. Now make it they go collect, they lock shop, they seize. Because if they're not being legislator, they're not for the that authority, they're for the challenge them, so man for the carry and go court. So not all man understand when that issue don't come now inside law. Because the one they will read law and they tell you say they get legalese, that's what they call their language. Just they call journalists and get journalists, that's what their language name. That legalese, they not to everybody they talk about, not to everybody they understand them. I make if I not say lawyer they get a separate dictionary. So the ordinary word we know in English language, the lawyer they mean different thing. Where they come to we now, we they use with expertise for simplify that information there, where the common man they understand. If you read they tell you about Appropriation Act, they tell you say now that bill with then carry go away, give the authority for let the government spend on behalf of the citizen. But the legal people then so then they call it Appropriation Act. So the Finance Act, in the law, where the people them, the citizens they agree, they give the mandate to NRA for collect both tax and non-tax revenue on behalf of the states. So when they use that cartoon format, where they give conversation, they understand exactly saying that this na in the mean. Because when you look at tax back get the language. They're very technical. And if you meet somebody when in discipline, you use no other words, no other language, and that language they use. But we now the family they for let they understand say when they say this word now this mean. And so the citizen by law if you pay tax because now law. And you know they broke the country law. So then I want to do even the budget we can also simplify them. Because what you do after the national constitution, the budget now the second most important document which citizens understand. Because just sound like we in a house. Where papa don't give chop money, mama they cook. Before all man eats, the mama they shape that food day. Some man can get boku, some then they get small, some they give you for better. So now so this budget stand. When they allocate the budget, some sector then they get big budgets, some then they get small, some not they even realize much. If you wait till that approval, they get a problem. You see, but what you will make the citizen they know say that money where they may collect in the form of tax. Now in government don't allocate so now for development program. Now through the engagement same way they simplify the budget and the Finance Act, the Appropriation Act. Of course, with the Auditor General said they can check, we get an aspect we call audit accountability. Because if they give you money, if you go spend them according to waiting we agree for let you spend them. If you left that one day, you go spend up on something else, the law they owe you. So now for that make the Auditor General can do a report, he will stop for bring that report they can at Parliament in there. The parliamentarian they now then for acts. Because now then the people they elect. So then they represent the entire people in a salon. So if they fail for acts, they don't fail them people them. We elect them. Because they not get forget space for let all the 8 million people that for go in the parliament just for talk. So you see, and so we work connected to governance, and so we work connected to accountability, and so connected to transparency. And of course, why make we say citizen participation is a key principle. You have to put him more to side money there. And when the government can prepare the budget, and not waiting majority of the citizens they need But if you say what you want for say government area, where then the budget and the plan for am. The budget na plan. About government, we not say anything triangle about if you help we for educate to pikin them, some of who poor not go able to afford. Government do that one day, they don't listen to the citizen then. We want constant electricity. Now that's what we taxpayer money do. Government provide light. They don't listen to the citizens. We want pipe-borne water, clean pipe-borne water. Government provide them through the tax money. So this now the tax they work for you, but then it's through constructive process where the citizens they talk, then the government they listen and they do it they want. I make it say democracy. The citizens, the government, and the action. Some people then they define and say government of the people, for the people, by the people. Well, by the people if you go by what they want. For the people if you work for them, not to you at the boss. If you go work in a servant, do what the boss want. Although in real context as alone is different. Once they elect some people then they feel bossy, they feel say they even better pass where they elect them. Now for that they make way some citizens they talk, then they do what the citizens they want. Until the time reach for election, as I tell them they come back, knock everybody in the mouth, they want a second mandate, a third mandate, or somebody else need to replace somebody. So that's the way how we work related to all them governance processes.
Okay, just like how you make mention, say citizen participation na a must. Now, don't get like any success story wherein on a call citizens together with the government, where they able to give their input, and at the end of the day, the input will be valuable. That government be settled and then do them.
Well, yeah, I would say we get several success stories because let's say the budget first. Before now, the budget officer, the gender officer, budget bureau of fiscal decentralization division, the economists them and then they sit down and do the budget. But we tell government say the process will be inclusive. So now I make now when they do the budget discussion from the policy hearing first. They get a slot where civil society them and they make a statement. You see, because civil society and the media, they are part of the fourth estate of the realm, meaning are part of governance, but not a part of the mainstream governance. Because their own governance are watchdog role. Whereas the other one, the three arms them, then they work for government and then they receive money from the government for doing their job. The media now, they don't need payment, except if the government choose for subvent them, because some continent they don't. They can subvent the media, because then they support back for make let the media grow. But salon with journalism, civil society there, if you not go find out for yourself, government not get that for you. But they are technically part of governance. Because not everything the government know. Most of the things the way government they know through civil society, they know through the media. But they are not paid. So now we are the patriotic citizens because they work for nothing. Every political appointee where you see so you get salary, you get allowance. If you travel say from here to go, you get allowance for that. But we also this man a journalist, senior citizen, in a civil rights activist, a senior citizen. Nobody not pay anything for car, but they can't talk, we educate the people them, we pay transport them back, we go now with us. But if a politician the car, they sign form for that in the office, and they go na radio, they forgive me fear. So then they work for we, but we they pay them. You understand? So that process the first one. Now ordinary citizens like me and you too, you can witness a budget discussion process. You also get the ability or the opportunity for contribute, for ask, for scrutinize the budget. What you now go limit you if you don't know how to do that. But they see citizens there and they say NSAs, these are non-state actors, are part of the civil society body. You see also even the district budget oversight committee members. They are ordinary citizens the way they under government structure, therefore monitor budget execution at the district level and reports. And of course, you see different shades of opinion. And what we can do, we also get a layer where like people that win are marginalized groups. We will talk about the disabled people then, we will talk about women then, we will talk about children. That was so they're not going to go ask them what are them born in needs with the budget for solve. We dey organize what we call pre-budget engagement. First of all, we dey educate them how dem for advocate for themselves. We no want budget advocacy network go advocate on behalf of the marginalized and vulnerable groups. Then they speak for themselves. But wetin go make them consider you need as a bond you need wey the budget for support if we dey in line with the government formula. The government formula one, then they use the medium-term expenditure framework, wey mean say instead of them do a single year budget, then they spread the budget over 3 years. And then if we align with the sustainable development goals, and then you need for also align with the medium-term national development plan. Understand? So now that they say 5 big game changers, that the medium-term national development plan now on the side, government get them priority sets. First of all, we call a national priority set. So where the citizens don't put all their needs, when they come align their needs and they in line with the government in formula. So once you don't fall in now, we they take them to the respective MDs. If you need now Minister of Social Welfare for solver, would they take you to the permanent secretary? You they go talk. Then budget officer then they capture on needs, they put as part of the budget. If you need the fall for education, would they take you to Minister of Education, you go talk for yourself. Minister of Education for take the needs, they put as part of the budget proposal. If you need na health, like for the aged, then most of them they get need for health, they get need for home for the aged, and all of that. We dey align in need, and we put them na the SDG where government we don't commit, and where the development program align with, we go put them there now. So nothing no go make you not align with the output them where they don't set na the budget. So but we say the misconnect kinde. Now where then people actually don't go make their input. The Minister of Finance can go for retreat, for go consider all wetin come inside in the discussion and do final allocation. So in the event they not take on board the citizen and need, they not they give them feedback. So that they disconnect this. But sometimes most of them demand it can come. It appear as deliverable in the budget. But again, we they call a successful campaign when a deliverable appear and then fully funded. Because most of the time, allocation is just allocation. They can allocate 10 billion. But sometimes you only receive 2 billion out of 10 billion. And you say go solve the immediate needs by the priority of your interventions. So now so Boku needs and they left out because one, even if the budget get for kind, they count of time. And of course, they get for prioritize with the little that they have. So we get some plenty successful cases. They will get an instance where the NGO will be the support, for example, the HIV positive people. They inform government, say they get for pull out. First, and they do counterpart funding. And say then they pull out. Let government they prepare for take over the funding difference. So we get people then with HIV positive. Then they part of the pre-budget engagement. Then they part of the budget discussion. And then they do in the sessions where Minister of Health they present, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Education. So they make sure say they're present, they make their own demands. And we get 1 year they were albinos and say, now remember we saw one albino died because he able for afford sunscreen. When a part of the thing they really need, where they keep them. So the albinos then put that demand there to the Minister of Health. 2021 then capture and at the budget and then provide them. Okay. Understand? The home for the aged, it don't take a long time waiting. The old people they need water, they need care. At some point, when they don't separate the Minister of Social Welfare and the Minister of Gender and Children Affairs, 2021, the aged and get space. Government capture them at the budget. And the reason why we always tailor the advocacy around the budget, now the sustainability path. For example, I remember I joined band 2019 through a defeat project where they recruit me. After I just left journalism and moved. Imagine that project they done, but this intervention still there. So imagine if na that project say now, be dey like how e don so, then the intervention back for done. But when you build this as part of the people, you dey come along with them, time dey carry, then they understand wetin for do, they no go even need for depend on you. They can go down and do the advocacy by themselves. Understand? So even when Irish Aid come in, wey dem dey support the project wey they implement, so now we still continue with that intervention, and it dey yield fruit because citizen participation, if you participate because na your money, government no get nothing, still himself they no get. If we no dey pay tax, government no dey get nothing for run the business of government. So why you no for participate? Na your business actually. If you no dey outside and dey shame, if dem give you small, you no go complain o. Because anyway, you absent, you choose to absent yourself. And I like how the publicity can go, the media can provide sustained publicity from the beginning to the end. And they do topical interviews at some point, and they provide situation updates, and they give analysis of the various budgets, and of course, this work we done dey sync well alongside the other players, in that space. So we get several examples of success stories when it comes to intervention in the budget, people-centered approach, people go advocate for themselves, and then we dey simplify, we educate, and we also mentor people them for let them champion advocacy by themselves.
Okay, last one before I go to Mr. Thomas Dixon. So if somebody suspects say public money don't be misused, how we go for report this matter and any protection day for that person there?
Unfortunately, we continue not get whistleblowing policy, and we don't advocate for that. Even the one that they tell you say, hey, go report corruption, a risky. Me, I don't be witness to somebody where they become a whistleblower, they take an issue. Corruption will be happen at the education sector, like Kailan district. That time I be there at the media. Mrs. F travel all the way Kailan will get the evidence, will present her to ACC. What the ACC do? They sell out to the prime suspects. The person end up for loss in life, the whistleblower. No day, but by right, some country then get whistleblowing policy. For example, if NRA, you suspect say somebody dey evade tax. How somebody dey evade tax? You get GST registered shop. Where you go, if now this phone I go buy the, then for give me GST receipts. If I insist because me I say I for demand for receipts, then give me other receipts where NRA no go know say you don't do sales. If I take that receipt there, I go report to NRA. If NRA make any recovery, me get 25% of that recovery. Now incentive for being a whistleblower. But that again they come at risk. Because if that business say no say now you go report am. Then you send talks and you don't get security in use. You understand? But the media now one go to place. Just at the risk in life. You don't get insurance policy in the media and salon. If journalists die, na so they die. You understand? But if you suspect, say, there is a misuse of public resources, you get the evidence. You can walk up to any of the media institutions, that can be newspaper, can be radio, as long as you present them with facts, then they carry a story. And most of the time, government can act at times, because then they say they make election at discretion. And people's money, and taxpayers' money, na they use. When they complain about mishap, it will be a priority now for investigator. You understand? The media can be a go-to place. Some people can use the civil society. People them like una blame media and civil and governance, civil society business. Idea they do a lot of education programs now. Una get through talk radio. Una get this now one way how they contribute to society. Imagine this year time, if not pay I get for go pay for talk all this. It costs. If I not get, I go just sit down and use. I forget about that. The fact that now they provide this space. Some people they can even talk in the open, they're not afraid. But they not get the platform or they not get the know-how. So when you suspect for say, then they misuse government money, you get the evidence. You can even go to anti-corruption, the worst case. Because anti-corruption, misuse of government money, it can result into so many things. It can be misappropriation, it can be misuse of funds, They get so many names wey dem get for Ghana. But the best guess now go be if you tell them whether they go take the appropriate action or not. Because the most common cancer wey dey affect to society na political allegiance. Just join one of the political party then the party dey happen for get power. Even if you report some of them, action no go be done. You get a few cases where action will be taken. But most times, dem be say na patronage, but una left that person dey but after all na this party dey na another dey. And now they know dey help development. Because that money the way misappropriate so sometimes be for benefits. It's because of Sierra Leoneans. Imagine wetin dem can take put salon money pass on the unnecessary travelling. Whether they for support some schools. We don go na some schools and na Kenema wey sit down play self no dey na stone, na butter stone. Na dey school pikin dey sit down. Blackboard self knocking dey na makeshift. But that one na people the way the government say dem go make their life better. We don go some side na Makeni. Even inside Tonkolili district, we don visit schools them wey they no even get proper accommodation. We dey call them schools, and then some of their schools they happen for be DEC schools under the councils. So we find out say any misuse of state resources, it dey affect another Sierra Leonean. But now because no more we get the power for do so, and maybe the authorities not go feel say necessary for hold you accountable. Some people can go scot free. But then tell you enough nice, and I make we dey talk. We dey support transparency, we support accountability. Because then use state resources, if we use them well so that we all go. What would you imagine? All man can talk say Ghana then they line for buy paste. Na salon. You cannot say the same now if you go Ghana. And the taxpayers that you use wisely can transform Ghana. Don't say now with man can do. Now if I will check some Ghanaian and black pass win a salon. Black people. You go to Kenya today, you go amazed. Go to some state in Nigeria, go visit the overseas. But we your attitude, we need for transform and force from the top class to the least. You get some people that when they come to politics, I like to get PhD, they argue like somebody reading at off courts. Because what you do, we not care about accountability. But we should anyway.
Okay, so that's na Abubakar Tarawali, the Program and Policy Officer for Budget Advocacy Network. We don't talk plenty on accountability and transparency when it comes to taxpayers' money. So back to you, Mr. Thomas Dixon. As a journalist, waiting at some strategy where una they use where government offices them delay for release financial documents.
Well, journalists, we get several ways that we will get to information. One way now the which we call the legal means of getting information, going to the government institution, getting information. We get way resources them when they bring information come to document the evidence and so on and so forth. Sometimes also we can use subterfuge means. When they say subterfuge means you can disguise and get the information. So there are several ways we will get it. That you can only use that subterfuge means when all the traditional legal means don't fail. Now you can use and forget the information. So normally we can use government documents, public documents that the government they put out for able for bring collect, for example, the audit reports. We can report on them copiously, and we also can report on some international reports on Sierra Leone. Follow them. Like for example, few months back, I think it's last month, there was I had a tip that the IMF mission to Sierra Leone don't stop discussion with the government of Sierra Leone because of budgetary overruns in the last budget, and that is in around November and December of last year. So they stopped funding to Sierra Leone. I tried to call the Minister of Finance, tried to call people in the Ministry of Finance. They all refused to talk. So I made my effort to get the information, but they refused to talk. But I've been trust me, source will give me the information. And also try to call other 2-3 people that were into finance and international financing and then tell me say yes, it's right, and give me the indicators that why make this information to be right. So I put the information out there. That was when we get the Minister of Information, go na radio, go na television, Minister of Finance, go na radio, go na television. We get explain, say yes, but in June, IMF will come back and they try to put their measures in place, they not suspend we. But the fact of the matter, we have not been given money. So you can't say we have not been suspended. At least we have been suspended for some time. And owing to the fact that we went for meet up 1, 2, 3 conditionalities, although we get, and we based on government overspending. When they say budgetary overruns, I mean government overspend. And waiting they say government overspend, partners in our road and electricity. So we'll put them out. Most people they ask, who side the road they be? Who side government bill they be? When they say there's some huge expenditure on roads. So that's the way we would get citizens for be interested in government expenditure. And for we also get waiting and call the access to information law. But most times we not can use that. As I say before now, the Ministry of Finance and one of the few ministries in government we can put out proactive information at the website. But of late we see side, as I say in the statement, we see side that don't decrease. Because by now if we don't get the unaudited financial statements of government, will not get them, not see up till now. Normally it can come out in March and April. Then by now if we don't see since the monthly update of government expenditure, we can come out monthly. They stop for updates on the website in March. So since March we'll not see the monthly update, we are in May. So that gets for worrisome of we for they ask question what is happening. Because that's the way where we will get information, bring account to the public. Say, look, government say they spend money, for example, the brother talk about traveling. Government say they spend money, so money on traveling. That means we get official figure from Ministry of Finance, and then we make analysis. Say this money, when government say they spend on travel, now so percent of GDP. This money could have gone to hospital. This money could have gone to talk about classroom. Could have gone to having furniture for classroom. Could have gone to having to increase salaries of teacher, the basic salaries of teacher or police. So these are the things that the way they normally get information.
Okay, so in terms of training and resources, you feel say journalists and as alone well equipped for investigate issues around public finance?
I think training a continuous process, especially in the work they do as journalists. We profession they evolve with time, meaning there are certain changes that will take place. So for we, I think say we need lots and lots of training, especially in reporting financial issue. The more that they talk, they have technical terms you get for understand and GDP, GNP, inflation, deflation. You get technical, yes, you get circulation. You get technical terms them. So even the ministry, as you say, in other countries, even the Ministry of Finance, they take up that thing and train journalists on reporting finance and development or the economy. But in real country, we don't see that not be so much. So I think so we need lots of training. Reporting the finance, reporting, for example, reporting the budget. Waiting in at the budget is the budget. There are a few journalists who will tell you say this budget is poor. The budget is not poor. Or budget, waiting a budget deficit, for example. Few journalists cannot tell you what that means. So only few people go able for explain. Even the one that we get some small financial knowledge be able to tell you about that. So we need education. As I say, education and training are continuous process. Not to tell you now they stop. So for we journalists, we always need them, especially on investigative journalism and on reporting finance and economy.
Okay. The Right to Access Information Act be passed since 2013, but in reality, you feel say government they respect and we journalists that they request for information for the public interest?
First of all, I think say we are in government they disrespect the act. One, all government institutions forget a functional website. We are able to upload proactive information. I will tell you now authoritatively that even the Ministry of Information not get a functional website. I will tell you say there are several ministries who not get several institutions. For example, if you check NRE, for suppose for no almost NRE collect today, If you go to the website, now you write as citizen for no, but you don't get them. Even State House, I'm not sure they have a functional website. Website where will tell we say this is what the president does spend in traveling, for example. So most times we can journalists, another way we can get information, we can do speculative journalism. We are in all other forms of field. We can speculate. Then they prompt the person for talk. So normally we can speculate, say president don't spend 500 million for travel. But there is no actual figure to that until the Ministry of Finance bring out the unaudited financial statement. I don't know that because some of we don't get so in some interest in the unaudited financial statement they know they put them out, they not put them out now. Because by April, normally March cannot they out. April journalists are not begin for report on them, but as they talk, they out. So for me, the only ministry where be proactive, respect the FY law. For me, so far, na the Ministry of Finance, despite those little challenges. But if you go to the Ministry of Finance website, for example, you will see inside and they advertise if they want for the procurement and they put it on the website. Yeah. If they want for do this and they put it on the website. So I think another institution at the audit service always they put out the information on the website whether they get information. Then you talk about whether and on one side of the act, then all government, the act it you see all government institutions for get information officers. People the way you want go for information, we able for tell you say, okay, this information officer then different from communication officer. Communication officer now for go talk for the institution, for sell out the image of the institution. Information officer now for able for direct somebody we go for information. Who said we able for get the information within the office or within the department. Most of them don't get them people a day. So another downside. For we journalists, it can difficult for us to use the FOI, the access to information law. Because the access to information law, they say after you make requests, it will take 15 days. Then they cannot slow the pace of reporting, so we'll not use that normally. We can use other means for get to information. But the reason why make you get access to information, all the gear towards good governance, promoting accountability and transparency. So before people come to you as an institution, may believe say if you don't put out this information, you decrease speculation, you increase trust in the institution, you increase institution credibility. So there are several benefits towards that. But most institutions in the country, they do proactive. Put up proactive disclosure. Yeah.
Okay, so how well they work with organizations like Budget Advocacy Network for ensuring transparency and accountability?
Well, they work with Budget Advocacy Network, and one of the institutions with the civil society organization where they train journalists on reporting budget, transparency, and accountability. I could remember 2 years ago, I was part of a team by Budget Advocacy Network for follow money that we don't missing in audit report. I was part of the team for look at the National Revenue Authority and we follow them. We go to the institution, we ask them question. Who side this money don't they? If you don't have any document we go prove say we actually don't spend this money, we don't give back to government. So these are but these are some of the things that we budget. And recently they also published tax document on tax where they show where they show say government they lost hugely. Today when they talk about mines and mineral, the issue of corridor holdings is all over the place. You not go believe say despite the fact that some of these issues already uphold their own contract to their side with the workers, they get huge tax exemption from government where also they hinder the revenue drive. They hinder the revenue drive in the country. And they put much more pressure on the citizen when the listman. You when a big company, where for pay you tax. Government they give them so much tax exemption to the point that you ask yourself, what is government doing? What are they doing? Because if you look at all their money they would not give tax exemption, these are money we can put into health, for example. These are money we can put into having good roads. Use our money we can put into increasing the salaries of some public workers. So we also they follow them most times and they engage with me in terms of report. And most times we also want to understand issue. For example, me I can call the executive director. I can call her most times for I want to understand some critical issues the way I get doubting, and then be able to explain clearly to me before I ever go report or I go out and talk.
Okay, so finally, as a journalist, what's your expectation when it comes to the government? We out therefore dish out the how therefore dish out accountability in terms of the money way that they collect from people them.
I think say government, the key word, the reason why make we get government now because first of all we all know before in a state house, we all know before in a parliament. Now make we elect people among we for government. And then people and the way they elect na service role they do to me. So that the duty in serving the people for ensure say they be accountable to the people. Not even for the border with them. If you go to states that we don't develop, accountability is the watchword. Any outside you go is accountability. You are just a click away from getting information. Just a click away. But yeah, we so get this culture of secrecy because people and if you know they do bad, why you afraid? So if they do good, they put out information. They say you put the cards on the table so that everybody will see it. Say that this are they do. But most government institutions do. And so for me, I think say government get for no say sovereignty in our country, now we the people then get up. And government also get for no say accountability and transparency in a part of good governance. They give the government credibility, they give the government trust from the people. So we don't need for cajole them now in their own favor. In government their own favor for be transparent and for be accountable, especially with resources. We now the people and taxpayers money. Me and you when they work, they pay as you earn. People and they pay GST when they go buy. So now they're taxed in the government they get that for one government. So government when they give them when they get that tax and they for one government, we feel say we believe say them for be accountable, not for chase them for accountable, for tell we how they use we money for one system.
Okay, so back to you, Mr. Abubakar Tarawali. What do you think say government or partner they still need for do so that people go get more power and boldness for take part by government spending and budget oversight?
Well, I will come to the people then first. You know, there is a reason why I made they say social contract. I don't know if you ever heard that one day. The social contract, now the manifesto. No political party, no the kind of power we not get a plan how it intend for rule if you get the power. So that manifesto they now in the pledge. They tell me, say if you vote for me, I go do this, I go do that one day. But you know what's missing? People that they vote or follow political parties blindly. We get country there now, even in West Africa, where they hold the leaders them accountable based on promises where they make before they get the power. But because any political party where they come after 10 years, don't they let the other one come. The citizens therefore left that style there. The second thing, don't forget about strongholds. You know they help with the citizen at all. They favor the politician then. Now it just sound like way you one can work here. They advertise a vacancy. You apply. They scrutinize you. They feel say you fit and ready for the purpose. I made them take you. If you falter, they get several things and what they go do to you. From suspension to other administrative, you understand me? Eventually, if they see the neighbor manage you at all, then go lay you off. Then go recruit other person. But you know who stay with the citizen and get power? Now just for go vote. Now you right for go vote. If I vote, for let development come. Where the development come and the politician they get and then get pot belly. You understand me? The ordinary citizen they cry, they know they listen there again. This they happen for all the systems. I know they pinpoint to one political party. Because from where we get independence, we don't get various leaders. Regime in, regime out. Virtually not the same templates all they use. Me feel say, we will begin demand accountability. If you come, you tell me say this, you can't rule, you know implement them. The next time you know get mandates. We don't see president they will take one term, then pull them. That rubber stamp ideology where we get now pass it done in 10 years. We know they send message at all to the politicians. Now I make They know say we are criminal by nature. We Sierra Leoneans. Give them money, then they vote for you. Speak in language, you go vote. Go on and then go on, and they resonate with you. Then they cheat we. Me, I want to see a swing state everywhere. From Freetown to Poloko to Kabbalah to Koinadugu to Makeni to Bo to Kenema. I want to see any side for be a swing state. Let political party not feel say yeah, the winner. You know, the social construct they tell you say, they call you, we the citizens, law can't get a bargain. We been get a culture where we start before now, where people then they say presidential debates. The candidates and they can't speak in front of the citizens. But as he said, this 2023, they're not doing them again. I don't know why. Whether the organizers have run out of funds, or maybe they engage the atmosphere, then feel say, well, Lord, just let sleeping dogs lie. But you know, that aspect of holding duty bearers accountable, they give the citizen and the power for, first of all, understand the intricacies, the dynamics them way involved in governance. But because citizens know the whole government accountable because they don't understand. And they tell citizens and say that you right for pay tax. Because me myself as a citizen, one, I believe say for pay tax na law. Then two, I believe strongly say tax they contribute to my national development. So I can encourage any citizen for like paying tax. So government go able to do the development program. But when you look at them, the way out and they spend the taxpayers' money, it's not fair. Now we say one aspect of the expenditure on a wage bill. If you do a wage bill analysis, you go discover for say, well, I not just put on general, I'll be specific. We don't do a study on the wage bill, ban and action it. Some 2 years back, even though we get trouble for get access from data from government, but we eventually did a study. You know, the major findings are that 30% now in they go to public servants. Where I say public servants, you know now the civil servants, them, the directors of this world, the permanent secretaries, this and that. Political appointees, they go home with 70%. So imagine, is this fair? It's not fair. Because they'll talk about even distribution of national resources. Well, to the credit of this regime now, they count wages and wage compensation commission, we go harmonize. Even that self. Even among them, some day they gain passing company. The political appointees. You know they expect government appoint anybody you represent it has please His Excellency. If you say na 4 million salary they go get. Whether in at the pay grade of plenty civil servants, 4 million, 5 million, 7 million. These are grade 6 staff. We recently SNBC staff then demonstrate. And they tell you a fish cake salary. If you're not graduate and pay you 2,800,000, you don't do it for 15 years. This is a far cry. And these are people all running helter skelter. They imagine waiting they pay the Minister of Information, with some people in there under a qualified person. But they enjoy the luggage. The only difference because now government appointee. It's not fair. Where the people then they pay this tax now for development. You know what thing they happen? When the people they're strong economically, the country back economy is strong. Because then they contribute to the economy. Now, anyway, that will not raise a Pandora's box. Dixon raised the issue of the IMF mission. Not only the budget overrun IMF mission may get issue with, even the deficit figures, the statistics are on the data about the GDP, they get issue with. And I mean, most of the time where IMF they make the macroeconomic outlook, they know they use with GDP. Then they use their own economical data, their own statistical data. Because you cannot tell me that the inflation don't count down to 10.3% from 54% within a scope of just months. Then you say the driving factors, according to the Minister of Information, no, because recently they launched what they call the simplified budget. Then say the driving factor for the inflation for condom to almost, well, they are now down to single digit because that back have been political promise. Within the manifesto say therefore maintain the inflation figure to single unit. They say the driving factor one, the cost of fuel. Now him be the responsible. Then they say there is stability in the exchange rates. You understand me? So another big factor is the Ukraine war. If I remember, the Ukraine war not on it. And we get food inflation, will be the high. We get fuel inflation. You understand me? What it change with statistics alone, the data for now and count down 4 to 16% to 13%, now to 10.3%. Only they know where they work their mathematics. I know say in 2018 they rebased the GDP. So putting point blank, the GDP we been get before 2018 to now, it don't change because when they rebase the GDP, the denominator don't high, meaning that we don't get more players really contribute to the economy, inclusive of the industry sector, other players. So forget a large GDP is a good thing, but we know say domestic revenue they perform. First quarter one, we don't fail the target. Now we did quarter two. We see President they call a national emergency task force put out together on revenue. Like the report where Dix Insight, between 2018 to 2023, the government lost between 177 million new loans to 5.3 billion old loans way down in adjust to exemption. 5.3 billion, a big part of the economy. If we redistribute that budget day, it could do plenty things at this economy. But this go to waivers. Well, the minister saying a tax expenditure. Normally, waiver not a bad thing. Now, way down the way they encourage investors for Canada, the country, like invest, which will be supposed to pay the waiver for you as part of the investment with government they make for your business. And by default, government are shareholder to all the companies there. You understand me? So that when you mature, you go pay more in taxes. And again, there is no transparency in the waivers. Because the reason for give waiver, now for one, boost investment in the local talent. For example, you go train workers the way they work to you, and then go also contribute to productivity. You understand me? But then they give waivers to company the way they exploit we. And if they go, they see nothing what they do. They know they add knowledge. They know they increase workers. For say, as a result of the waiver, we employ 10,000 Sierra Leonean, 20,000 Sierra Leonean. So they are all again fully employed and they contribute to the economy. You understand? So you find out, say, there are a lot of things where if you want to dig deep into the economy, into the taxes, the use of taxes and misuse, you get a lot to say. So, and one thing where I respect, like country like United States, UK, when there is an issue, then go be honest and speak to the media. So you allow for dispel rumors about this and that, understand? But when you allow people therefore go in and begin, so like what did they shame if IMF? We country not for depend on IMF program. But why make we depend on IMF program? Now because we need them for support. You understand me? And if they left them between there and the masses not go profit. Then they pinpoint certain figures they say the people there for benefit. Even though then they get the bigger part because most of them come they already cancel. And for that they make way, then they go take debt and get certain debt information then they disclose. Because they don't know the debt or they tell you say, if they can't take this debt to me, this part of the bargain enough for make the people they know. So they get confidentiality clauses. You understand? Other countries they don't develop, if you say they can depend on their natural resources, and don't they reject IMF programs. But now now then they give you templates. Almost everything about the governance, then you sit down today and tell you say, Salon government will stop subsidy. Their subsidy gone. You understand me? Because without they give template, you can also control your governance status. But I get a different take about the IMF program and other things. let me just just stop here because I think you get other issues that we want for future.
I think finally before we close, what are some of the plan way budget advocacy network get for make sure say taxpayers then money be managed better and our citizens then go be for see how they use the money there so on.
Well, we plan our public. Well, one thing, Dixon talk about media trainings, and he right because before now, at the member country they like India, they get what they call the budget day. Whether they reach, well, all kind of experts in the interview. The media says they get the analysis. You understand what they do? They provide a lot of information. So one way we feel say, with the bridge gap is to build the capacity of the media. Journalists and in a way very competent for analyze the budget. Like Dixon they tell you about the fiscal statements and way government be they publish. That in a mandatory law that the PFM Act we talk say every month we end the preceding month if you upload the fiscal statement. And the fiscal statement contain what they call the revenue, almost and collect inside that month and the expenditure. Waiting government spend. You understand? So if you get journalists the way they do their analysis and they now journalists then the way they do budget credibility analysis, journalists and the way they do budget tracking, journalists and the way they do then tax analysis, they are all credit to them because we not stop the media program and we feel say even the state of the media reports. And now let them focus on media poverty in the assessment. Therefore, also they measure how much individual entities they contribute to journalist development. Because when the journalists build capacity now, for that they make we all able to do the analysis there. So that is a state of the media. Because if the media they take this trajectory now from a radio we use or no, you get a camera and a studio, now innovation. You understand? This they tell you say journalism or the country don't come of age. Now we don't add innovation to the arts. So we want for continuing that trend, and we also will continue for make simplification of critical national documents. First term we just be do budget tracking, we analyze the budget in various phases. Now we don't focus back on procurement. Because 50% of the state resources they go towards procurement. And we see say most of the beneficiaries are among them. We also they look how we they push for equity and equality for let women and begin forget by the national budget. Because if we talk about unpaid care work in Sierra Leone, although that policy no going to work now because government not get money for finance and but women they will get average salaries. You're not going for say they pay well every month because of they take care of your bikini born or the wife span or also the book. You understand? But at least if you involve in business, since government self they buy and they procure, their woman business and profits. Because a part of the budget was how they spend. Then obviously a man they no more strong than the economy. Woman they back na citizen there. We also get marginalized groups, women then disabled people, then let's get innovation and get tech. They got other things where government can contribute for procure some of these things. Even when they make out the local content policy, they're not being classified. They just say local content. Local content what? People then they left machine the way then they make salon in agriculture, then they go buy machine at Germany because they want exchange rate gain. Where if you buy you go Phoenix, you get plenty machine the way well not to advert for them anyway. But I know say you get local technology now where they support agro-based, interventions where we can get locally now for cheap. We not they patronize them. But when they go overseas, for go buy a machine the way we can get local. So we want to make sure say that sense of entitlement, let the citizens get them so that they go able for adequately scrutinize and government and duty bearers. If you watch now where we can get sessions, the way our civil society and they ask questions and they ask with evidence, then they give reference. You understand? For example, if a ministry, the last budget discussion, the Ministry of Water Resources, they say they build water well in Moyamba. Fortunately for we will get a civil rights activist wey come home and buy attend the budget discussion say we no still the water well. So before now the government consider dem make that report dey many money spent, but now there's quality check. Because if you say you do this intervention at this area also I dey so, I dey there not see am, I go talk am. And then for go monitor, if you be say don't divert that fund, you dey count am back. Now make the audit service can tell you say, then they order you for payback. Since you spend, you not get evidence of expenditure. So now then, so one for because you know why make we see journalism as vital people in this conversation beyond the ordinary euphoria. Generally, what people they say, journalists then get a technical way because then train them out there for pass information both in the technical way and in the non-technical way. So if they understand, then they're able to set the agenda for national development. We're able to discuss then things there. So if you get a minister now with the knowledge you get, you go able for they in charge of your interview. Because what then they do, if you don't know say